Anyways, so I've got my trusty Echo SRM 231 weed whacker here, and gotten a lot of use out of this thing. Now, I meant to actually do this when I first did the video on this thing way back when. If you haven't seen that yet, links in the description if you care to watch it. And I meant to replace these fuel lines in it. So the very first thing we'll have to do is pull the fuel tank bottom guard off, which I'm using my trusty impact. Now, there should be probably one more, and indeed there is. It's a Phillips head on the other side, so I'll quickly remove that as well. And while I'm here, I'm probably gonna take the liberty of cleaning this shit up a little bit. It is pretty dirty. And 2 screws later, the fuel tank is off, and we now have access to the bottom lines. Now, I will go ahead and say this. I just did order a brand new tank for this thing, just what we have to deal with here. So on the carburetor, you have this yellow line, a black line, and then you have this, probably a vent line, I would assume. It comes out of the tank and has a tiny little filter on it. All 3 of these are included with the new kit, as well as a new rubber grommet. Carefully pull this off. I might have to just go ahead and remove it from the carburetor, noting that the yellow line is where it is. And there we have that. Nice large fuel filter. It's actually larger than the one they include, but that's okay, it does the same thing. So like I said, you're going to have to use a little bit of force to remove this, but all things aside, what's nice about these is you don't have to dick around with the 2 holes that are normally in 2-stroke fuel tanks, where you have to, you know, put the fuel line in a certain way and, you know, snip off the ends and try and use a little bit of lube. And so, off camera, and about a week later, I got all the parts in. It's got the new lines, which I did reuse those from the last one that I bought, and brand new grommet, brand new fuel tank and cap. I also stuck the vacuum cleaner through here and cleaned everything out a little bit. Well, so I guess this carburetor only has the single adjusting screw on it, which when I did install this thing way back when, however many months ago that was, I didn't even bother with tuning it or seeing if I could tune it. I just assumed it was like every other carburetor that I've gotten, and it was more or less pre-tuned from the factory, which right after I installed it, it seemed to be okay. It was running fine, wasn't having any issues. It wasn't until a couple of months ago where it kind of started to bog down under full throttle. So I went ahead and checked the screw here, and sure enough, it was all the way in. So I pulled it back out about a turn and a half, and my suspicions were correct. It now doesn't do that anymore. So it runs a lot better with a full load on it. With it running full throttle, I adjusted the screw some more to find that sweet spot, and now it runs really good. Feels like it has quite a bit more power, and it went through all of this just fine. Didn't even hiccup at all or anything. So that works for me. I will say though that I'm not a huge fan of this trimmer head, really because the line likes to wear down a lot if you're going through a lot of brush and weeds and stuff. And it is easy to change the lines out, but you know, when you're using this thing for a lot of cutting and trimming, it kind of becomes irritating because you have to stop and cut out new line and put new line in. This trimmer head was given to me. I mean, it was already installed on this thing when I was given it, but I think eventually I'll put, you know, just a standard trimmer head on this thing with the spool inside it, and it's got the button on it. But other than that, it's running really good now. I'll go ahead and start it up for you guys again. So it might need just a hair more of a tweak, but other than that, I'm happy with the results from it. I really like this weed whacker. It's really lightweight, and it's an Echo product, so I know it's good. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. You all stay classy.